Welcome to another episode of The Illustrious Gentleman, the place where comic book artists and top blokes Scott Godlewski and Ryan Cody talk about life, work, comics, and booze. Don't forget to let us know what you're drinking while you're listening to the show. Go on yourself, big man.
All right, we are live. So welcome to another.
Emergency head.
That's special just for the few who watch the videos. You lucky few. So welcome to episode 155 of The Illustrious Gentleman. It's a podcast between myself and Scott. Say hi, Scott.
Hi, Scott.
We're comic book artists, comic book creators, if you will. This is a show where we talk about pop culture topics, beer, freelancing, what have you. What will you have? You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at TIG_show. All the past episodes are available at anchor.fm/Tig Show or any of the sweet big podcatcher sites, wherever you listen to the show. If you enjoy the show, leave us a review. Support the show at patreon.com/Tig Show, or you can go to tigshow.com/merch and buy some shirts. We've moved a couple shirts this week. So
nice.
Go there, buy some shirts. It's a great way to support your favorite podcast and be pretty dope. And Patreon backers will get episodes. As long as everything works out, the video feed works out and everything, they'll get episodes up to 4, 5, 6 days early.
Yikes.
But I did promise myself if the video is as bad as it was last week, because I was on a terrible connection, I'll no longer post those videos because it was unwatchable. But as long as everything holds up, here in the Northern Villa, I have a better feed.
You sound good. Everything looks good.
Yeah. For some reason, it's working much better up here than it did down there, but that's fine. We're moving on from that. Last week is over. It's a new week now. How you been?
True. Yeah, I've been me, I guess. So
Yeah.
Whatever.
Excellent. Working hard.
Yeah.
Working hard. I've seen visual proof of you working hard. Yeah. That's what I've been doing. Not true. I colored a bunch of pages already this week. Couple covers. All right, Scott. So what are you drinking today?
I, this morning, made a special trip down to my local Total Wine and grabbed one of them build-your-own six-pack things, even though it's not like a flat $10.99 or whatever Fry's charges. I had to pay sticker price on all these single things. So, which is not terrible, getting to pick what you want to fill out your... Is there like an industry term for the little carrying case, the cardboard box?
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, the thingy thing.
Mm-hmm.
I walked out of there dropping like $17 for 6 cans, which is not awful.
No.
Yeah.
You make DC money. You're okay.
Yeah, I got to pick what I wanted. It's the price of freedom and convenience, you know.
That's right.
Anyway, I've got a Mother Earth Brewing Company's Cali Cream and Vanilla Cream Ale. I don't know. I tried. I had 2 criteria when I was walking up and down the aisle. I wanted either something really sort of odd or something with cool can or bottle art. This does not qualify for cool can bottle art. It's fine. It's fine.
It's clean.
I mean, yes, it's clean. That's a good word. It's fine. But tasting notes: vanilla bean, cool. Oh, those are 2 words: cool and crisp. I don't see a space between the cool and the and. I didn't know what cooland was. Maybe it was some type of a hop.
Yeah, it's a song by it's an R&B song from the 80s. Cooland now.
Anyway, it's a 5 ABV, which is not super exciting.
No.
Where's this from? Vista, California.
Ooh, I've been there plenty of times.
And Nampa, Idaho?
Oh, maybe it's a collab.
Huh. Whatevs.
Whatevs.
Let's pop this shit.
Let's do it.
I do not have a glass to pour this into.
I would imagine it's going to look like a Budweiser.
Yeah, that would be my guess. I'm expecting something pretty clear. And
Yeah.
mild looking. It's it's got a big vanilla hit on the nose for sure.
Yeah, I like I personally am a fan of that either Hennessy or Genesee cream ale. It comes in the little stout bottles. It's usually kind of cheap. It's like New York or something like that. It's easy drinking. It's like 4-point-something%. I usually like cream ales. The problem is they're never stronger than like 5%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
This is all right.
All right. Is it my turn now?
Yeah. Do you want to do I don't have a great beer advocate reading.
I don't have a great one either, but if you feel like you want to do it, go for it.
No, probably not.
Okay.
I'll save it.
All right. I'm not going to twist your arm or anything. All right. I bought this thing last night. I went to this new store that I love. The new can selection that I love, this place. And I bought this beer strictly on, I bought it without even checking the ABV or what kind of beer it was or anything. I pulled it out of the cooler and I'm like, I'm buying this. And then I was lucky enough to find out it's a 10% barley wine. It's called Chicken Killer from Santa Fe Brewing. My camera's way over here. Sorry. Yeah. So Chicken Killer, it's got all these like targeted dead chickens on the can. It's just great. I thought, how could you go wrong with a beer called Chicken Killer?
Yeah.
That's right. So 10%, they claim that it's going to revolutionize American barley wine.
Ooh.
I lied when I said my beer advocate theater was terrible because it's pretty good actually.
Right.
I don't have a good memory. I just looked it up like 5 minutes ago. So this is from Jazz Crop.
Oh, we're gonna get it.
Jazz Crop. Tastes are chalk, seaweed, sweet malt, barley, flaked wheat, grains, booze, wood, yeast, cloth, strong beer with a little bit of age on them, stuff, and hops. Smells are toffee, chalk, mixed drinks, pills, credit cards, aluminum, and tin. And
what does a credit card smell like?
And his final note is not a sensation, just all right. So what really sold me on this was it smelling like yeast and cloth or tasting like yeast tasting like yeast and cloth and smelling like pills, credit cards, aluminum, and tin.
And he got it in a bottle.
Yeah, I don't know how he got it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it into my whip-in pint glass that I liberated from the whip-in in Austin, Texas. But I am going to wait a couple of minutes to start drinking it because it's supposed to be, everything I read was it's supposed to be drunk at like 60 degrees, and I had it in the fridge. So I'm going to just pour it. It does pour like a nice red color, almost like a dehydrated, like a runner's urine.
Put it between your legs for a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm going to let it warm up, and then I'm going to keep sipping my pregame beer while I do that.
Okay. I actually did stumble across maybe a worthy beer advocate for my Cali Creamin'.
All right, let's do it.
All right. This one's from Raul Mondesi. Says, glows a golden orange hue like a jack-o'-lantern in July. Smell is of malt grains and beautiful vanilla bean like Penelope Cruz vacationing in Madagascar. Taste is typical cream ale, but it's the vanilla bean that makes a playa want to scream. Feel is light and smooth, like that one time you put ice in your bong. This one is a winner.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah. Penelope Cruz on a beach in Madagascar. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
It's a good visual.
The smell is of malt grains and beautiful vanilla bean, just like Penelope Cruz on a beach. I don't know what that means.
I wouldn't call her. I guess vanilla beans are nice and tan, so sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean,
sure, let's do it.
yeah, I wouldn't mind if Penelope Cruz smelled like this.
No, I mean, I'm sure she does. Who are we? Maybe that guy knows her. Maybe it's like Johnny. Maybe it's Johnny Depp's like hidden account, like his burner account on Beer Advocate.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I got a couple nitpicky type things in my TikTok segment.
What are we nitpicking?
Well, I got two nitpicks that bother me mostly about like reviewers, because we're gonna nitpick something today. So this is something that bothers me when I see people nitpicking things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's mostly in relation to, it's like a reviewer who reviews art or comics or whatever who can't draw or write.
Oh.
I don't know if they're the best people to review something. So this kind of goes to this, right? And I understand you don't need to be able to dunk to comment on basketball. I get it. So anyways, because I'm a narcissist and I'm obsessed with Family Tree from Image Comics that I color, I read the reviews because I just want to, a lot of them say really nice things about me. So it's like a good, like, attaboy. But there was a couple reviews have mentioned that the female lead of the book, well, the mother in the book, Loretta, they talk about how like she's a bitch and like a shitty mom and just like a kind of a general downer and shitty person. I just want to throw this out there because I'll guarantee these reviewers are not in their 40s or late 30s and have kids and shit. She has 2 kids to take care of. She's a single mom. She has a shitty job, no money, no social life. So she's a very realistic character to me when she snaps at her kids and she's like tired and got bad. Like Phil Hester and Eric Gapster, they draw great like bags under her eyes. Like it's fucking perfect. Like I was watching. I wasn't watching it. But I was scrolling through my Instagram feed yesterday, and some Harry Potter account I follow had a screenshot of them at the end of the 8th movie when they're supposed to be. Like in their mid 30s, and the only thing they did to age them was give them like vicious bags under their eyes, like, just like. And I'm like, that is 38 all day, like 36 to like on.
Wasn't
like,
Ron? Wasn't he thinning a bit?
Yeah, he was thinning a bit.
I mean, on his head.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Not physically.
Not around his midsection.
Right. But other than that, they just packed on a bunch of like dark makeup under their eyes, and I'm like, yeah, because when you hit like 35, you just get bags that don't go anywhere anymore. They just stay on the carousel for the rest of your life. They're just fucking there because you don't get any sleep. So anyways, for a reviewer who has never raised children or had to deal with all that stress to say like, oh, she's being shitty to her kids. Yeah, put yourself in that situation, dipshit.
Yeah. You were a kid at one point.
That's right. And your mom and dad hated you.
Shitty to you.
That's right. They can't stand you. Okay. And then my other one this one was launched because of you this morning. I was coloring a page this morning. I wanted to listen to a podcast. I asked you to recommend that one, mostly nitpicking, and you did.
I did.
So I scrolled down and I'm like, oh, Bad Boys. They're talking about Bad Boys.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm listening to it. And then they start talking shit about the Michael Bay masterpiece that is Bad Boys. But one thing that really bothered me is a couple of them, they really get hung up on this scene. It's at the beginning of the movie. Martin Lawrence wakes up with his wife. He has like he makes a joke about having like morning wood, and he's trying to get up on his wife, right? First thing in the morning. And then the kids run in the bedroom because they have like 3 little kids under the age of like 12. They run into the bedroom and hop on the bed. And the dudes on the podcast were like, it was so cringy and so gross because he has a hard on and blah, blah. Look, motherfucker, that shit happens all the fucking time when you're an adult with children. That shit is like every Saturday morning from the time you have kid number 1 that can walk until they're like 13. It's not gross when you got a hard on. I mean, it's gross if you're naked on the bed, but if you're under the covers and you got morning wood and a kid runs in and jumps on your bed, it's not a fucking sex crime. It's fucking life. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I would say there's probably some context here. I mean, it's a different time we live in now. That's a funny bit from when the fuck ever Bad Boys was made.
1995. Apparently, I learned this from that podcast, Michael Bay's first movie. At some point, we're gonna have to do my favorite Michael Bay movies. We're gonna have to do a Michael Bay episode at some point because
You'd have to do it by yourself.
he gets shit on all the time. He has some decent, fun movies.
Okay.
He's like,
Okay. Cool.
whatever.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right. Any? What do you got going on? Any thoughts? Anything before we get into this fat episode?
No, I was listening to that show this morning, not the Bad Boys episode, but they did a like a pre-Rise of Skywalker episode,
Right.
where they sort of just, shot the shit and guess what would happen. And then they did a post after seeing it one. So I just listened to the pre and I was getting through the post. I'll have to finish that maybe. I don't know. My new sort of my working method now is to take my companion and put my ass in the recliner over there and put like a Jim Lee Twitch YouTube art video on the TV and mute it and then just put on a podcast.
Wow, multi-layered.
Yeah. So I can look up and maybe get maybe at that exact moment, when he's drawn the dimple in that chin that one way and something in my brain goes off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the. Oh, I don't know where I was going with this. But
Random thoughts.
yeah. No, I did see a new show that I
Ooh.
would like to recommend to everybody. I thought I would hate it just scrolling through Netflix. You go through it and it stops over it and the little bit trailer plays.
This is good because I haven't found shit on Netflix in the last couple of weeks that I give a shit. Although Lock and Key drops tomorrow or today. But other than that, there's nothing I've been excited about. So please get me excited, Scott.
I would like to recommend this to everybody. It's going to be the Dracula series.
Ooh.
Yeah. Going over it, you get they do the little bits and you see Dracula and he looks shockingly like Bela Lugosi Dracula. And I thought, oh, this is going to be lame as fuck.
Right.
But no, I was pleasantly surprised. And it's a weird format too. It's 3 episodes that are all 90 minutes long.
It's probably
And that's it.
It's a BBC show, probably a British show.
Yeah, just super interesting. Check it out. You'll like it. I'm a sucker for like the Bram Stoker Dracula stuff. So it's like they took the first chapter of the book and that's all they used. And then they just did their own shit after that. It was great. It was great.
All right. Are there is there like boobs and stuff, or probably not? It's a BBC show, maybe not.
No, there was no boobies. There was a fair amount of gore and like practical horror effects.
Yeah,
which I really dug. Yeah.
All right. One thing I got to learn to do on these video feeds, if we're gonna keep doing them, is I got to remember to look at my camera and not look at your face. Because right now I'm looking at your face, but it's probably better if I look at the camera. But that's inside baseball talk.
I guess, yeah.
That's
Who are you, Rush Limbaugh?
That's producer Matt. No, I don't have cancer. I'm not a piece of shit. I'm also not a Medal of Freedom winner. Okay, so today's topic, we didn't really have one leading up till last night, and I just
didn't get one of those.
Apparently not very hard at all. Unlike Martin Lawrence in the first scene in Bad Boys, who was very hard. So we didn't really have a topic, and I got super butthurt. So if you listen to episode 154, the last 3 minutes are me getting upset with you because I thought we had a standing date to go see the Joker together, and then you told me you had watched it without me.
Well, now Birds of Prey is out.
Yep, I was thinking that too. If we wait till it hits the dollar theater, then that'll be fun.
Well, I was thinking I've got this new Alamo Drafthouse Cinema, a stone's throw from me. We could go get a few beers and just plunk our asses down in some nice recliner seats, and
we just
watch the magic of Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Margot Robbie for 2 hours.
Yeah, Miss Margot was just on the season premiere of Hot Ones. So when
I did not watch it, but
so when I was laying in the tub in chronic pain the other morning, I watched it.
Yeah. That's what I do in the tub too.
Yeah,
Watch
but mine's physical
Margot
pain.
Robbie videos.
Right, but I was laying in there because of physical pain. Yeah, so we don't have to get. I was going to talk a little bit about my chronic back pain, but it just getting old sucks. That's all. Just
Is that all it is?
well, it's obviously at some point I think I injured my back. I think I have a herniated disc somewhere in my lower back, and it flares up every now and then, maybe like once a year, to where I'm like my spine actually gets physically like I'm physically crooked, like my chest and my hips don't line up. It's like a sideways scoliosis. Like I'm not hunched
terrible.
over. Oh, it's the worst. But sometimes when it acts up, I'm just crooked but I'm fine. Like it doesn't hurt really. I'm just like, sometimes I can be like super crooked and I don't feel any pain. I'm just crooked and it lasts for a day or two and then it fixes itself and whatever. This time, however, when we recorded last week's show, I was crooked and I was starting to feel a little back pain. And then that impacted my sciatica. So the last week, even though my back is the problem and it's crooked, the sciatica pain is the problem. Like my left leg has been on fire for like a week straight. Pain meds don't work. Nothing really works. Like it's like a Bengay factory. My entire house smells like Bengay. It's like fucking crazy. But that's like the only thing that gives me any relief is like
There's a Michael Bay joke in there.
Yeah, I know. The only thing that gives me any relief is like a heating pad or an ice pack, and then like lathering the fucking leg up with Bengay. But I will say maybe it's the magic of talking to you. Maybe it's I'm so excited to hang out with you. But last night was my best night's sleep in a week, and I haven't put any medication on today. I mean, I'm self-medicating, but I haven't put on any topical medication today. I haven't used the heating pad today. I feel like the worst has passed. And it's either because I knew I was going to talk to you or because I made a chiropractic appointment for Saturday. So as soon as you plump down and make the appointment and you're going to spend the money.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. So I'm feeling better. So there's really no point other than the last week. I've been a fucking disaster. Just like hobbling. I can't walk. I hobble everywhere. It's just the fucking worst. I bought like a $30, which for me is a huge investment. I bought like a $30 like electric blanket essentially for my back. Like you strap it, but it's like an electric blanket. So I could just keep my heating pad on for like 2 hours at a time. Yeah. It's not just getting old though. I think my beer belly that I can't get rid of is the part of the problem is I never stretch because stretching is difficult because I can't breathe when I stretch because my belly. So I think a lot of that's the problem. Like I think if I lost some weight, did some yoga, it wouldn't flare up nearly as much. So just take care of yourselves, everyone. Stretch, get up from the table, move around, do calisthenics.
Yeah, I mean,
Some hot yoga.
Yeah, I'm never gonna get tired of being a perfect physical specimen.
I know
for sure.
Sure.
But yeah, you think about it, like in geological time, right? That like walking upright is like this brand new thing, right? Only we do it, and just when primates want to be hilarious for YouTube videos, they do it too.
Yeah, like when a bear wants to have a comedy set, he'll walk around. Yeah.
Yeah, I had heard someplace like nature gave us a clothesline in a spine, and we're using it like a flagpole.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like, well, also part of the problem is as soon as we're talking in what do you call it? Like geological time, it's so new to be walking around, but it's also even newer to then be sitting for
oh Jesus,
let's say 16 hours a day, and then you sleep for 8. So this device that you have that gives you this amazing ability to walk around, you're just like, fuck,
you're doing all this crazy stuff with it.
Yeah, you're like, fuck you to this amazing gift. I'm just gonna sit down all the time. So it's all that stuff. Like I gotta get up and move. Which ironically enough, the last week my back felt best when I'm sitting in like right now. I got rid of my desk chair. I'm sitting in a hard wooden chair, and it feels better when I sit. So it's cool because I've been able to get work done all week, but I can't sleep because when I lay down, it's shooting pains through my leg, and I can't walk because it's shooting pains through my leg. So it's almost like the universe telling me like, you did this to yourself by sitting at a desk. So the only way to make it feel good now is for you to sit at your fucking desk, you piece of shit. So
I wonder if there's anything to like walking like a chimp, or like a dog on your hands and knees. I wonder if there's any like medical advantage to that.
I don't know.
Like that's going to be a thing. There's going to be a movement. There's going to be a trend of you're going to go to the food court or whatever and see some weird fucking hipsters in yoga pants walking around on their knuckles.
Well, there's no doubt that's already on YouTube. That shit has already got a following of like a couple million people.
I need to come up with a name for it. I need to call it something.
We should have a podcast about that. It'd be more popular. All right. So
knuckling.
So yeah. So anyways, you watched Joker without me. You hurt my feelings. So then last night I was like, look, asshole, if you're going to keep breaking my heart, then maybe I should just watch it on my own. So I did it this morning. I watched the movie on my own. And then I thought maybe we would have thoughts about it.
Maybe.
So I took notes, but I realized you watched it like a while ago. So maybe
it's like 3 weeks ago, something like that. Oh
shit. Yeah. So you probably don't remember dick.
I mostly remember being disappointed, and not even disappointed because I didn't want to see this movie, but I come away from it thinking, oh my God, I don't remember the last time a movie was this overhyped.
Yeah, I agree. So put it this way. When I saw the trailer and I saw the hype for it, I thought like, oh, this is going to be like a cinematic experience. And I obviously didn't go see it in the cinema. But I thought it would like bring me in and I would be like enraptured by it. And like 3 minutes in, I'm checking my Twitter feed. I told myself I wasn't going to take notes during the movie. I just wanted to watch the movie from start to end and just sort of like enjoy it and ingest it. And I'm like hopping over to take notes and I'm not even pausing it. Like I'm letting it play while I'm writing notes.
Man, you can do that.
You could do it because it is very much.
It meanders about.
Part of its charm, which is also part of its detriment, is that it is too much of a love story to like 70s New York film.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I mean, there was no... The whole my entire rant about this movie is going to be like, why did it have to be a Joker movie? One of the problems is Gotham City is just 1970s New York. I've seen Taxi Driver. I've seen fucking Midnight Cowboy. I've seen this movie. Why try to tell me this is every time they said Gotham News or they said the word Gotham, I was like, wait, what? This is supposed to be Gotham? Like I was.
It breaks that suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, I was like, it sounds like it just sounds silly. It sounds silly coming out of their mouth when they are driving home. It's such a serious movie to then like Thomas Wayne and Gotham and shit like that. I'm just like I'm bouncing around. But I will say, obviously, I didn't love the movie, but I will say I found myself as I watched it, full of anxiety. Like I was biting my nails like fucking crazy. Just I don't know what it was. It triggered some sort of anxiety in me that made me uncomfortable, and that's probably the point of the movie.
Did it take you back to that time where you also worked for a clown temp agency?
Yeah, like when he was trying to stretch open his shoes.
The fuck is that?
That's me, because my Doc Martens from high school, my feet have swollen, so I can't fit them in my Docs anymore. So I gotta like sit there and try to stretch the shit out of the leather. But it's not like it was suspenseful in a way of like, what twist and turn is this going to take? Everything was telegraphed. Like nothing.
No, yeah.
Nothing was shocking to me about the movie. So it wasn't suspenseful and anxiety filled like that. I think it was just like, I know what it's like to be uncomfortable all the time. And he was uncomfortable. And I think that's what it triggered in me, was like just being uncomfortable. But I got a whole list of notes here. That kind of them are out of order and shit like that.
No, but I think you should get into them in order to probably jog something in me.
Right. Yeah. So one thing was another callback to last episode. We before I got upset with you for watching this movie without me, which now I'm not really that upset about it now that I've seen the movie.
I'm glad you got over it.
Thank you. Yeah, I moved past it. But we talked a little bit about the new Batman reboot, and one line I said was, I hope we don't have to see the pearls hit the pavement again. In this movie, you see the pearls hit the pavement. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. You had one job, Joker movie.
Yeah. Well, going back to the what you thought of it and what I thought of it. I don't understand what people are seeing in this movie where I don't understand what anybody saw in this movie to put it on the list of best fucking picture for the year. What is it? I mean, people have been taking comic book properties seriously for, the last decade. So this isn't new in that way. We had Watchmen, the movie, which is tonally a lot similar,
Right. Well, I wrote this down. I don't think people take superhero movies seriously. They take the box office of superhero movies seriously.
What I mean is superhero movies taking themselves seriously. Like
yes.
Captain America movies.
Right.
The last couple Avengers movies.
But to me, I mean, maybe Birdman is kind of like this, but Birdman's not a traditional superhero movie. This movie is kind of like an art film set in a superhero kind of in a comic book world, sort of. So I think the reason why so many people are blowing their load over it is because a lot of these people that
Callie Creeman,
they're Callie Creeman for this, is because maybe a lot of this audience only watches superhero movies and like Fast and Furious movies and shit. So to them, this is fucking mind blowing cinema. But again, I've seen Taxi Driver. I've seen like great cinema.
That's a good point.
So their point of reference
That's a good point.
Their point of reference is Avengers Endgame, which is a good movie, but it's a different movie than this movie.
Yeah, so these 19-year-olds that have only seen Black Panther are now seeing this comic book movie that's totally different.
Right, and that's like what I was thinking when Marvel movies started getting big. I'm like, they're taking themselves seriously and they're putting a money into it and doing a good job. And that it's not like a cinematic masterpiece that's elevated the genre. Like the fucking Nicolas Cage masterpiece, The Rock, elevated the genre. Die Hard elevated the genre. Like, just because we're again, like you said, we're taking things seriously, we're putting money and talent behind it. So it's just a good movie. They're not used to seeing good movies.
I suppose. I mean, this is it's I don't know. It feels like almost a maturing of the Snyderverse DC movies. It's still depressing and it's uncomfortable, and just like you want a Superman movie to be.
I will say, because I wrote my notes linear. That's a phrase everyone should learn. So as I was ignoring the movie and writing my notes, I'm doing it as it happens. Mm-hmm. So I thank God that he ends up turning on kind of the white rich establishment, because the first two times where he's triggered are by minorities. And I'm like, this is not the message you want to send, is him getting the shit kicked out of him by a bunch of like Puerto Rican kids.
Well, that's why pre-release, everybody was thinking, oh, this is, it's a dog whistle for the incel community and that sort of garbage. And
well, I do think it is a dog whistle for the incel community, but there's more to it than that. It's not just that. But yeah, I mean, the first time you see him kind of getting downtrodden and triggered is he's getting the shit kicked out of him by a bunch of Puerto Rican kids, middle-aged white man getting fucked up by children. And then the scene that really stuck out to me was when he first got the gun, he's watching a movie with almost like a minstrel show on the TV, like black dudes singing. It's like a 50s or 60s movie. And he starts like fingering the gun and playing with the gun while there's a black man on the TV singing. And I'm like, I hope this is not the trend that continues throughout this movie. That every time there's a minority, there's like a violent act either against him or that he's perpetrating. I'm all on board with him. I'm all on board with the Fight Club version of the Fight Club mentality of this movie. I mean, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but I lean more Malcolm X and less Martin Luther King Jr. I don't think there's anything wrong really with fighting the establishment.
Right.
You might not. You might
let
want
alone
to
move the wheels of history.
That's right. You might not want to be mentally ill while you do it. That's not a good look for the cause. But I don't think there was the joke last weekend or 2 weeks ago on SNL that the Oscars are all white male rage because of this movie. Like it's just like white old dudes getting angry all the time. I didn't get that vibe from this movie. I just thought it was let's make a character sympathetic that no one in the history of media has said, let's make the Joker sympathetic.
Okay. Did you find him sympathetic in the movie?
I didn't find him sympathetic. I found his situation.
Okay.
I was
That's
sympathetic.
Important distinction.
I was sympathetic to his situation that there's some people that are mentally ill and they're like children. They can't. It's like if you yell at like a 18-month-old kid to stop doing something stupid. He barely understands English. You can't expect him to like stop being a dipshit. So it's like this, like the mentally ill are not capable of making rational decisions. So I'm sympathetic in that way.
Okay.
Sure. But no, I did not find him a sympathetic character. I found it a lazy character. I found that's the easy way to make people sympathetic towards him and to explain why he acts the way he does.
Yeah.
And I found it just lazy as fuck.
Yeah. It's yeah, that's a good point. Maybe that's a little bit of what I felt. It's a shortcut for characterization, but it was pulled out into 2 hours in this movie. And they really lingered on it. I don't know. It's like all those bad like 80s action movies where the bad guy always tries to rape a girl. That's how you know he's the bad guy.
Right.
Yeah, it's just lazy characterization.
Yeah, it's taking the lowest common denominator of how do we get from point A to point B. Again, I mean, I've been reading comics since 1985. I've been watching all the movies, blah, blah, blah. The Joker might be the one character in comics that I've totally bought the fact that he's just a fucking psychopath, and I don't want or need motivation for him.
Yeah.
Why? Yes. Why would you want to make him sympathetic? It's like trying to make a movie about Hitler and being like, look, he wasn't. I mean, come on, you got to understand. This is what he was, and this is what led him to be what he is.
Well, okay, yeah, maybe sympathetic's not the right word. If you're going to use a villain as the protagonist in a story, the protagonist, regardless of who it is, needs to be relatable in some way. You don't necessarily have to be on their side. You don't have to sympathize. You don't have to root for them. You don't have to be against them, but you need to be able to understand in some way why it is they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
So like even like a Hitler movie. I mean, he didn't just wake up one day and was like, "Oh, yo, I think I hate Jews now." That didn't happen. There was something. As terrible as the outcome is, it's something in his brain led him to thinking, "Oh, this is a reasonable conclusion."
Right, but don't make a movie. Don't make a piece of art that's gonna make up almost $1 billion to try to tell me Hitler wasn't always a bad dude. And like,
right,
like let's just move fucking on and accept that he was a bad dude.
Yeah, but since this is a fictional character from a piece of extraordinarily popular culture, then it's okay.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, there was neither like a traditional protagonist or antagonist in this movie. There was no one in this movie that you could root for at all, really. I found myself. It
was like the latter seasons of what's the biker show on FX?
Sons of Anarchy, where they all become monsters. Yeah. But at least then I had seasons to build up to invest in these characters. Shout out to Juice. So one thing I noticed, obviously I'm gonna have to put a spoiler warning up at the beginning of the episode, but it's it's 5-month-old movie, 4-month-old movie. The scene in the subway where Shea Wiggum from Empire or Boardwalk Empire, one of the cops, one of the detectives, is chasing him on the subway before they get the shit beat out of him and stuff. I'm watching that and I'm like, man, I wish this movie was his movie with just he's chasing the Joker. Like, make it like a Seven situation or make it a Zodiac, because that's what it wanted to be. It wants to be a David Fincher movie.
Oh,
but so I found myself right before he started getting the shit beat out of him on his like third appearance on screen. Like, I want to know more about Shea Wiggum's detectives. I want to know more about that guy. And I don't even know his fucking name in the movie. I just know the actor. I want to know more about that guy.
I think I might have enjoyed a movie like that more.
Yeah.
Where it was told from, the obvious perspective would be Gordon, like a young sergeant or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, maybe just regular detective guy. And there's this crazy new thing happening and how it affects him and his family life and the people of Gotham. And that would have been interesting.
Right.
An entire city, this terrible city where it's just shit all the time with the garbage strike and everything. But now there's this crazy killer on the loose. So everybody's on edge and
yeah.
I could dig that.
Yeah. Another note I made, and now I'm starting to put two and two together. I don't think this movie is supposed to take place in the greater DCEU. That's what they're calling it. I guess that makes sense because the MCU, DCEU. But I put, this is my note right here. What the fuck? The Joker is 25 years older than Bruce Wayne.
Right.
So now I'm thinking they cast a very young actor, not super young, but like a 30-year-old actor to play Bruce Wayne in the Batman. Matt Reeves is the Batman movie. And Joaquin Phoenix is probably pushing like 50. He's probably like 46, 47. So are these movies going to tie together? First of all, I hate myself for even thinking this because I'm the one who thinks you should be able to make standalone movies that are in their own universe.
Yeah.
So instead of having a DC logo at the end of this movie, it should have been a DC Elseworlds logo.
Yeah. But yes, it activates the part of my brain that I loathe in other people. Yeah, I'm like, oh, this doesn't make sense with this other stuff.
Right.
And then I'm like, just shut the fuck up.
But then that same part of myself, that I hate that part too. Now I'm thinking like, as much as this movie to me is completely unnecessary, it does give a twist on Batman is now born out of he's dead set on the Joker. The Joker caused all these problems, not some random dude who killed my parents in an alley. It's the Joker. So you could make a nice kind of revenge film out of the next Batman movie if you wanted to go that way. But they haven't made any mention of that. And Joaquin Phoenix is not gonna do a 5-minute cameo in a movie.
No, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that signs a 3-picture deal.
No, although they are already in production on the Joker Part 2. So.
Oh, great. I want to see that even less than I wanted to see this one.
Yeah. It's just, who needed this movie? And people can say that about all kinds of movies, but I think this movie would be a lot more interesting if it was not tied to these characters. I would have been more sympathetic to this character if he was a brand new character. Because the baggage that comes with Joker, he's a mass serial killer. He has all this baggage. Like, it was hard. I didn't feel any sympathy for his character, which if it was a wholly unique project, I probably would have had sympathy for his character and understanding of his plight.
If you don't do it as the Joker, though, then you're just remaking Taxi Driver and King of Comedy.
Right. And it's making $500 million less at the box office.
Oh, a lot less than that.
Yeah. Let's see. One other note. I was watching it and I was like, man, I want to get shoulders like that, like the bony, muscular shoulders. I was like, those are some goddamn wings right there. That's some good. That's a good cut. Like that's a nice, sweet cut. And it also made me want to smoke cigarettes, which I've never.
He was pretty fucking gross.
I've never wanted to smoke cigarettes again. He was gross, but he was gross in the way like I think if I was gay, or if I was a straight woman, one or the other, which whatever. I would be into dirt bags like this. Like this is my jam. Like just like the super skinny, super unhealthy. Like there's no risk of long-term commitment because you know shit's gonna go south as soon as he takes his shirt off and it's all just like bony and shit. Like I was into the physicality and the physical look of a underfed Joaquin Phoenix in this movie. I was like, sure.
Yeah, he pushed it, man. It's like Christian Bale, right? And
the Machinist. Yep. I've never seen the movie. I just know the story.
Yeah, I was thinking about Joaquin this morning, and
I bet you were.
He's like I find him to be good at what he does. But he only seems to do stuff sort of like this.
Yeah, he plays the awkward creep.
Yeah,
too well to not be an awkward
he's
creep.
The morose sort of underdog.
Right. Were you thinking about Joaquin Phoenix this morning when your kids ran into your bedroom when you first woke up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call back.
I was thinking, I wish this was Joaquin.
Yeah. I mean, from the moment I first saw him in Space Camp, I thought at one point, this guy's going to win an Oscar for great shoulder work.
What I wouldn't give to be the meat in a River and Joaquin sandwich.
Yeah. One's a corpse and one looks like a corpse. So my favorite part of the movie, I had a thought while you were just talking, but I lost it. So I'm going to go to my last note and maybe it'll come back around.
Yeah. Go to the next one.
My favorite. Oh, we'll end soon. My favorite, much like when you think about Joaquin Phoenix in the mornings, my favorite part of the movie was when he let Gary go, when he let the little guy go, the little person.
Oh, because he's always been nice to him.
He's always been nice to him. And I'm like thinking to myself, that's why you're nice to these kinds of people. That's why I'm nice to, that's why.
It was, I thought it was a nice moment, not because I give a shit about Gary, but because it's introducing some sort of rule. There's a little bit of order
right
here.
Yeah, it's like I think this is the difference. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a medical doctor. He's not a sociopath, he's a psychopath because he knows right from wrong. He doesn't kill Gary. He doesn't go just on a random killing spree. In his mind, he's killing people that deserve to be killed. So he does have a sense of right and wrong, and this is justice, and this is.
It's a very narrow and self-centered view, but
right.
But yeah, I don't know. I like the rule aspect. Like if you're gonna have a villain, like I don't know, like Freddy, like if you can get him into the real world, then he's as mortal as you are. It seemed like that sort of rule. Oh, somebody can do something with this.
Yeah. Again, they did all these things to make you. This is, I guess, my problem with the movie is I never felt emotionally attached to any character in that film. Maybe Domino, Zazie Beetz. That's what I wanted to talk about. When all that stuff was going on in the middle of the movie, I actually wrote a note. I wrote a note down like, who the fuck is watching Domino's Kid? And then I thought to myself, why would this 10 be fucking this creep? And then it all made sense at the end. Did you pick up on it while it was happening that it was all in his head, or did you just think she was?
Oh yeah, freak? No, it's totally out of left field, and it doesn't make any sense.
See, I thought she was just kind of broken too, so they found each other, and like when it happened, I was like, of course, you fucking idiot, like I'm an idiot. But while it was going on, I didn't question it one bit.
Yeah, it would have been maybe more helpful if there were more instances of that in the movie.
Right.
Maybe something with his mom, him imagining he had this great relationship and she was this perfect person, and that he wasn't resentful of taking care of her.
Right. I got a question for you. One thing that I didn't, and I'm fine with movies that leave you with questions. I don't like a movie that explains everything. I'm cool to movies that leave interpretation. I'm curious about your interpretation. Was he really Thomas Wayne's son, who Thomas Wayne coerced this crazy maid to adopt to hide the fact that he fucked the maid? Because if mental health is hereditary, she had to have been his biological son, or else the odds are just astronomical that they're both fucking cuckoo. So that was never fully explained, because they tried to explain it, but I'm like, but they're both nuts. So how are they not related? What are the odds that she adopts a fucking sociopath or psychopath?
I took it to be garbage.
So he's not Thomas Wayne's kid. He's not Bruce Wayne's half brother.
That's my reading of it.
She just happened to have the unlucky, although maybe the trauma he sustained because she adopted him is what made him off the reservation. That's a terrible term. Kind of made him the way he is, because he sustained abuse when he was little because of her. Maybe that's what caused his mental illness.
Yeah. Right. Maybe. I took the whole reading of that to be.
You took the Thomas Wayne way out. You believed Batman Daddy.
Because I think the implications of that being accurate are just so laughable. In context of the universe and everything we know, to think that the Joker is Batman's half brother, it's just so dumb.
Yeah.
It doesn't make anything interesting. It doesn't add another layer to their relationship. I just think it's fucking stupid.
I agree. It doesn't do anything for me, at least. Speaking of that whole confrontation with young Master Bruce, the thing that bothered me most about that scene was they cast an actor who I've never seen before as Alfred. You would have thought that even if for that one scene, that's a major character in the DCEU.
Yeah, you can't get Jeremy Irons back for that.
You can't get somebody I've ever seen in anything.
Michael Caine.
The best thing about watching it on Prime is pausing it, because I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Because I don't know if he says his name is Alfred. Maybe he does, and I don't know. I just watched the movie. I can't remember. But I paused it, and it comes up Alfred Pennyworth, and I'm like,
you know who it is.
You know who it is, but I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, who is this? Who is this? Like, he looks like a former MMA fighter who took a bodyguard job. Who the fuck is this dude?
Can't get like Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, or Gerard Butler. Give me somebody who I recognize, who I don't have to see in a future movie, but someone who's interesting enough for that cameo.
This is Wayne Manor. And then he kicks him through the gate.
Yeah. Also, I love the fact that the son of a billionaire will just let a stranger rub his face and put his thumbs in his fucking mouth. You don't know where those thumbs have been. Those thumbs could be anywhere, and you're a little kid and you're letting some stranger put his fucking thumbs in your mouth.
Yeah, Bruce is a weird kid.
Yeah. Everything makes sense now.
Yeah.
That's the thing. In this new Batman movie that's coming out, I want Bruce to kind of be like a freak. Like, I want to see like a sex swing in his bedroom and maybe some handcuffs. Because he should be, you grow up the son of a billionaire who then died and left you a fortune when you're like 9. You're going to be into like weird, freaky shit. You're going to be a fucking
That's
psycho.
How, like, I always personally kind of wanted Batman to be, was like
have a sex dungeon.
But like a righteous, like, American Psycho.
Yeah.
Kind of guy who's completely fucked up, and the only thing that makes him feel better is dressing up and punching people in the face.
Like, that's what makes him have an orgasm. is beating up bad guys. It's
Right.
the only way he can get off.
That's the only way he feels better about anything.
Right. Yeah. That's the Batman I want to see. Like, he's at home and like he's got all these chicks on him. He's just like bored to death, and there's a correlation. I'll call back to it in a second. But yeah, I want to see a scene where he just has like a threesome going on, and he's just bored to death, and then he goes out as Batman later, and he almost looks orgasmic face.
He beats the shit out of somebody in an alley, and their blood is on his face, and he kind of licks it off of his lip. And smiles. Yeah,
makes an O face. Yeah, that reminds me of one of my favorite MMA fighters. He's kind of all off the rails now. He's kind of fucking psycho. Speaking of psychos, BJ Penn. It's a bad look now, but like 10 years ago, he was one of the best MMA fighters in history. He beat the shit out of one guy one time, and at the end of the fight, he licked the dude's blood off his gloves, on the pay-per-view. That's what I want to see. I want to see my Batman do that, and then have an O face after, like his whole body shivers. Maybe his cape like stiffens up after he beats the shit out of somebody. Make it drive the point home.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say. That's fine.
That's my Batman.
It's my Batman. He can only get off by breaking somebody's jaw. All right. So yeah, there's so much expectation and so much praise for this movie. And to me, it's just like I don't even know if it's a good superhero movie. It's a good movie. I think the problem with it is it's trying to be a good movie set in a universe that this movie doesn't make any sense. And I get wanting to expand boundaries and create art and create cinema, quote unquote cinema. I think this would have been a better movie if it had no ties to the DCU and it was just about a guy's descent. If it was just like a Fight Club, if it was just like a ripoff of Fight Club rather than, I don't know, it did nothing for me. Like, it
was a pretty movie. It's well shot. It looks nice. Outside of that, I can't really. I can't give you an aspect of it that I would say I enjoyed.
Right.
Even my boy Joaquin, as much as I like him, this could have been any one of his movies.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this goes along with, I don't know the right way to phrase it. This goes along with you get the Academy Award by playing someone who's mentally challenged, right? It's done and done. Dustin Hoffman, all these other dudes. What is it?
Never go full retard.
Yeah. So this is an easy way, I think. I think this is people want to praise his performance, and it was a good performance, but it's an easy performance because no matter what you do can be taken as like a character trait or a tick or, oh, look how he did this. Look how he laughed in that scene and his eyes twitched. Like, yeah, you can go full fucking crazy and just capture it on film. Like it's not the same as, I don't know how to compare it, but I don't think this is the acting feat everyone says it is. I think it's easy to go super overboard and people love it because you went fucking super overboard. But I prefer a nice subtle performance. I prefer understatement.
I kind of think that was him through most of the movie. I didn't think he went over the top anywhere.
I do think there's a correlation that I guess an aspect of this movie I really did like was he kind of became comfortable with himself once he killed those dudes on the subway. He stopped laughing in public. Like it's almost like that's his normal. He became sane in his head, don't get me wrong. But in his mind, he became his true self when he let himself go because he started acting more normal. He could be in public. Yeah.
I think the normal part for him, it came after he went off of all his meds.
Right.
So
which we don't recommend.
What is this then? I had heard a lot of chatter about this being a movie about mental health and how important it is for society to be accommodating and for all these programs to be funded and this stuff. But it turns out that him not being medicated was the best thing for him.
For him, not the best thing for society.
I don't know. I mean, he was going to therapy and he was on the shit when he killed those dudes on the train.
Yeah, but you could almost say that was self-defense. I mean, not hunting the guy down and killing the third guy, but yeah, it's I'm gonna have to edit out all these sniffs. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I can see. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and the far left didn't like this movie because they thought it glorified this kind of like male rage, middle-aged male rage, blah blah blah. And then the far right was like, everyone's too sensitive. It's just a fucking movie, blah blah. I can see both sides of that. My biggest problem was it didn't do either, or it didn't do either for me. It was just. I'm glad I didn't go to the movies. I'm glad we didn't see this together, and I'm glad I didn't drop $20 or $25 at Alamo Drafthouse to watch this.
Yeah,
I'm glad the patrons paid for me to watch this. Put it that way.
This, I think, okay. Going back to like making the bad guy the protagonist of your story. I think in that instance, you really need to hammer on a theme. It needs to be saying something. There needs to be a string that sort of connects everything together, and you leave the movie thinking about, oh well, yeah, he was awful, but was he right? Does it make sense? Could I do this if I were in his shoes? Right. I didn't feel that leaving this. This was just a portrait of a sort of a sad dude that ends up doing bad stuff.
Yeah.
Through no one's fault but his own.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're going to have an antagonist be your protagonist or your antagonist be the main character, they have to be likable. And he wasn't like, there was, again, I keep hammering this home. Nobody in this movie was likable. Maybe Domino, but she was barely in this movie. In reality, if you don't count his psychosis, in reality, she was in this movie for about 40 seconds. So no one in this movie was really likable. I mean, they went out of their way to make Thomas Wayne a piece of shit in this movie, as well as did you ever watch Venom?
No. Yeah, actually, yes. Venom I did. Deadpool 2 I did.
Okay, so was Eddie Brock in Venom, other than being super fucking handsome, was he likable at points? Was he charming? Could you get on his side at certain points of that movie? Oh, you couldn't?
No.
Oh, so it's much like this. He's just a piece of shit.
Well, he wasn't a piece of shit. He just wasn't anything. I didn't feel one way or the other about him. I didn't feel like that would have been an interesting angle. I didn't feel like he was an overly good guy who was host to this terrible thing and them having to find some sort of compromise. He was just sort of a guy. He was just a guy.
Was it more entertaining than Joker? Should I spend $4 to rent Venom?
It still bothers me. I don't understand how you can do a Venom movie without Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
How can they not exist in the same universe?
But we just watched a Joker movie without Batman, and we don't have that same question.
Yeah, but there's no part of Joker that Batman is built into. There's no part of his costume that has anything to do with Batman. He doesn't have similar powers to Batman.
Right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so I guess I didn't love the movie. I'm going to watch it again tomorrow. So maybe next week, because I mean, if I'm going to pay for it, I'm going to make my wife watch it with me. So I'm going to watch it again before my 48 hours is up. So maybe I'll have a different thought, because my wife is way smarter than I am. She has like 2.5 more degrees than I could ever have, maybe 3 degrees. So it'd be interesting to see her take on it, who's not held down by all this comic book shit, right? So maybe it's a different movie if you're just going to see it because Joaquin Phoenix is in it and whatever. If you're not bogged down by the comic book aspect of it, maybe it's a different movie to you. So maybe I'll have a different thought next week.
Yeah, maybe.
I doubt it. I assume if we put this on tomorrow night and it's after 8, I'm gonna be sleeping like a baby by like 8:25.
It is extraordinarily slow.
Yeah, and I get that sort of art house cinema, but it's 2017. Shit's got to be cracking.
Right. This should have been a Michael Bay movie.
Fuck. If this was a Michael Bay movie, I would still have a hard on. Scott, my friend, how was your Mother Earth Callie fucking creaming?
Hold on.
Forgettable. Forgettable is something you can say. You can say it's forgettable.
It's tasty. It's even though it's got that the vanilla bean flavoring stuff, it's not sweet, but it I don't know, it tricks your brain into thinking that you're getting what you want. Like I have a sweet tooth, so I lean that way in everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's built on the base of just like a regular old like American lager. So I don't know, 3.5. I'll go 3.5, I guess.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, if its foundation was something else, I don't know what. Like, I'm getting away from stouts and porters. I don't know that you can make a sweet IPA. I don't know that those two things gel. So I don't know what else this could be. Like I said, other than, some sort of vanilla porter. But I mean, if you're looking for that, if you're looking for something in that ballpark and you don't want to go as heavy as that, this is a fine sweet session option. So I think a 3.5 is pretty accurate.
Okay, so here's a question that we've never asked on this show that I think is curious. How much would you pay for a 6-pack of that? Let's use the baseline that a 6-pack of Bud Light is $6.99. Let's use that baseline because beer now is expensive as shit for no reason. What would you pay for that?
Man, if I were just sitting around for the day, just like watching football all day long,
football,
$8. All right. Anything over that I would choose something else.
So if you were at the store and like a Bud Heavy or a Bud Light was $6.99 and that was $7.99, you would pick that.
Yes,
but you wouldn't pick that if it was $9.99 and you could build your own 6-pack. But who would?
Well, it depends on what's there.
Yeah.
All
right.
There's only so many times you can pick up a hop knot.
Yeah, I get that too. Like you want something new, and you can't drink a 6-pack. I mean, you could, but you're not going to drink a 6-pack of Hop Knot during a football game, during Man City, Man U. You're not going to drink a 6-pack of Hop Knot and feel good about yourself at the end of 2 hours.
Yeah, I want something that I don't think about.
Yeah, that's why you do this.
I want anything pulling my attention away.
All right, okay, 3.5, solid. That's what I would give a good beer. That's what I would give a beer that I'm interested in. I would give it
it's good. I would buy it again if those were my options.
Yeah.
If it was Coors or this, I would choose this.
Right. It tickled your fancy, to use a term.
Yeah.
Your fancy
if fancy is your butthole.
That's as fancy as your brown eye. Your ruby starfish. All right, my turn. 10% Santa Fe Brewing Chicken Killer. God damn, that name is great. I almost want to recommend the beer just on the name alone. Chicken Killer. It has nothing to do with the type of beer, has nothing to do with anything. It's just Chicken Killer. It literally means nothing other than I bought it as soon as I saw the phrase Chicken Killer.
So what do you got?
It's very red. It's still red.
It's a good color.
First couple sips were a little rough. And maybe it's because it was still too cold. Because as I've been drinking it, it's gotten better. Flavor profile wise, it's almost like a very strong like red ale. You would love this. It's like a very strong red ale.
So it's kind of earthy and malty.
Very malty. Again, they're not high. Some of the reviews were like the alcohol was hidden pretty well. I think the alcohol is on the nose. Like
it's 8%. Was that it?
It's 10%. And I will say when I first poured it, and it was like still cold, it was so boozy. Like the smell was really boozy. And I was like, oh shit. Like if anyone watches patrons, get on this shit. $1 a month, get access to these videos. I made faces when I first sniffed it and first sipped it because it was kind of booze heavy. But now that it's warmed up, it's sweet. It's very sweet to me.
Wow.
There's almost because first pour, I was like, it's a bourbon smell. Like it's a that kind of
okay, like a toffee sort of
yes.
Brown sugary.
Yeah, and now it's just very sweet and it's easier to drink now than it was like 20 minutes ago. I'm 10%. Trying to think what I paid for this. I think I paid less than $4 a can for this. So, and it was a pint, not a 12 ounce. So $4 a pint, less than four, like maybe $3.80. Starting to really dig it.
I've got a pint for next week's show.
Oh, maybe we should talk about it. And if I can find it, maybe we'll do the same beer or something. Because if you're excited about something, I want to get excited about it.
Yeah, I can't remember if I had this. I think I remember seeing it at the can place we went to in Chandler. But I don't remember if I grabbed it or not and had it on the show.
So let me wrap this up here.
So what are you giving it?
A solid 4. Only because it is very booze heavy. To say that all these reviews, it's like I don't taste the booze. It's there. I mean, it's there. It's there. So if you're like a beer drinker who doesn't like hard alcohol and you're put off by any kind of secondary flavor or whatever, like a hit of booze, you won't like this. But if you're okay with that kind of shit, you're gonna fucking love this beer. Santa Fe Brewing Company, fucking Santa Fe, New Mexico. I've had a lot of their beers. I spent a lot of time in New Mexico. It's one of my favorite ghetto states in the Union. I love it. Yeah, 4 all day. And I bet if I had a second one, if I had one prior and then had one now, it'd probably be like a 4.5, 5. Thumbs up.
Cool.
Shout out. And also this icon is called a Zia. When I used to work at Zia Records, that's a Zia.
Oh.
It's the whatever's on the New Mexico license plates. Shout out to people who can't see what I'm talking about and they're listening to this on audio. You guys are the best. Scott, my man. Any final thoughts? What's going on? What's going on? Anything exciting? Nothing?
No, nothing.
Okay. So I like that we both put up I put up a silly name because last week you put up a silly name because we don't see each other's names till they pop up. So I'm happy that you went with a different silly name and you still went with a silly name. So for people who are watching this live, we have display names that are a little goofy, a little silly, a little sassy. I'm happy that we're on the same we're Vulcan mind melding.
Well, now I'm out. I'm gonna have to brainstorm for
now it's a challenge. Now it's a whole fucking thing.
Now it's expected.
Yep. I do expect it. Just like I expect you to end the show like you end every other show, Scott. Do it for me. Give it to me, baby. Goodbye, Scott. Goodbye, Scott. TickShow.com.